You tried to talk today. You opened your mouth, and the words were right there, sitting heavy on your tongue like stones you had been carrying for months. You looked at the people around you, your friend, your mother, your coworker, someone who was supposed to care, and you started to speak. But their eyes drifted. Their phone lit up. They nodded without hearing. They checked the time. They said, while their mind was somewhere else entirely. And something inside you just closed. Stopped mid-sentence. You said, never mind, it's not important. And they didn't even notice you had given up. Tonight, you are alone. The house is quiet. The world has moved on without you. And that familiar ache has returned, the one that whispers, nobody really cares. Nobody truly listens. You could disappear, and no one would even notice. If that is where you are right now, stay here. Because 3,000 years ago, a man sat alone in a cave, and he felt exactly what you feel tonight. And what he cried out to heaven, you need to hear. His name was David, a king, a warrior, a man after God's own heart. And yet, in that moment, he was none of those things. He was simply broken, forgotten, invisible. And this is what he prayed. I cry aloud to the Lord. I lift up my voice to the Lord for mercy. I pour out before him my complaint. Before him I tell my trouble. When my spirit grows faint within me, it is you who watch over my way. In the path where I walk, people have hidden a snare. For me, look and see, there is no one at my right hand. No one is concerned for me. I have no refuge. No one cares for my life. I cry to you, Lord. I say, you are my refuge, my portion in the land of the living. Listen to my cry, for I am in desperate need. Rescue me from those who pursue me, for they are too strong for me. Set me free from my prison, that I may praise your name. Then the righteous will gather about me because of your goodness to me. No one is concerned for me. No one cares for my life. Have you ever felt those words burning in your chest? Have you ever looked around a crowded room and realized that not a single person there truly knew what was happening inside you? David knew that feeling. The man who killed giants. The man who danced before the Lord. The man who wrote the most beautiful songs ever sung. That man sat in darkness and whispered to God, I have no one. And God heard him. The same God hears you tonight, but perhaps you need to go deeper. Perhaps the loneliness you carry is not just about being ignored. Perhaps it is about being wounded. Perhaps you reached out and no one reached back. Perhaps you waited for comfort that never came. There was another moment, centuries ago, when David found himself drowning, not in water, but in something worse, in the weight of his own heart, in the crushing silence of abandonment. And he wrote these words, Save me, O God, for the waters have come up to my neck. I sink in the miry depths where there is no foothold. I have come into the deep waters, and the floods engulf me. I am worn out calling for help. My throat is parched. My eyes fail, looking for my God. Answer me, Lord, out of the goodness of your love. In your great mercy, turn to me. Do not hide your face from your servant. Answer me quickly, for I am in trouble. Scorn has broken my heart and has left me helpless. I looked for sympathy, but there was none. I looked for comforters, but I found none. I looked for comforters, but I found none. Do you know what it is like to need someone? Anyone, to simply sit with you? To not fix you or advise you or redirect you, but just to be present. To witness your pain and say, I see you. I am here. And then no one comes. The phone stays silent. The text goes unanswered. The visit never happens. You wait by the door of your own heart, and nobody knocks. David knew that waiting. He knew the hope that slowly dies when comfort never arrives. He knew the exact shape of that particular wound, the one that says, I am not worth the effort. I am not worth showing up for. And yet, even in that drowning place, he cried out to God, because somewhere beneath all the pain, he remembered something. He remembered that there was one who would never fail to show up, one whose love was not conditional on convenience, one who had promised never to leave or forsake. Maybe you have forgotten that promise. Maybe it feels like empty words right now, religious phrases that bounce off the walls of your empty room. But stay with this, because we are not done yet. There is one more story you need to hear tonight. One more man who felt what you feel, and his name was Elijah. Elijah was not just any prophet. He was the one who called down fire from heaven. He was the one who stood alone against 450 false prophets and watched God answer with blazing glory. He was the one who outran chariots in the power of the Spirit. And then, one day, he ran for his life. Not toward victory, just ... away. A woman named Jezebel had threatened to kill him, and something broke inside the prophet. All the courage, all the faith, all the fire, it drained out of him like water from a cracked vessel. And he ran into the wilderness, collapsed under a tree, and prayed to die. This is what happened. Elijah was afraid and ran for his life. When he came to Beersheba in Judah, he left his servant there, while he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness. He came to a broom bush, sat down under it, and prayed that he might die. "I have had enough, Lord," he said. "Take my life. I am no better than my ancestors." Then he lay down under the bush and fell asleep. I have had enough. Have you ever prayed that prayer? Not necessarily wanting to end your life, but just wanting the pain to stop, wanting the exhaustion to end, wanting to close your eyes and not have to face another day of feeling invisible, unheard, alone. Elijah was empty. He had given everything he had, and now he had nothing left. He was not asking for more strength. He was not asking for another miracle. He was simply done. And this is what God did. All at once an angel touched him and said, "Get up and eat." He looked around, and there by his head was some bread baked over hot coals and a jar of water. He ate and drank, and then lay down again. The angel of the Lord came back a second time and touched him and said, "Get up and eat, for the journey is too much for you." So he got up and ate and drank. Strengthened by that food, he traveled 40 days and 40 nights until he reached Horeb, the mountain of God. There he went into a cave and spent the night. And the word of the Lord came to him. "What are you doing here, Elijah?" He replied, "I have been very zealous for the Lord God Almighty. The Israelites have rejected your covenant, torn down your altars, and put your prophets to death with the sword. I am the only one left, and now they are trying to kill me too. Did you hear that? I am the only one left." Elijah felt completely alone. He believed he was the last one standing. Everyone else had abandoned the faith, abandoned him, abandoned the cause. He was isolated in his pain, convinced that no one else understood, no one else cared, no one else remained. And God did not argue with him. God did not correct him or rebuke him or tell him to be stronger. Instead, God told him to go stand on the mountain because the Lord was about to pass by. The Lord said, "Go out and stand on the mountain in the presence of the Lord, for the Lord is about to pass by." Then a great and powerful wind tore the mountains apart and shattered the rocks before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. After the wind there was an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. After the earthquake came a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire came a gentle whisper. When Elijah heard it, he pulled his cloak over his face and went out and stood at the mouth of the cave. Then a voice said to him, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" He replied, "I have been very zealous for the Lord God Almighty. The Israelites have rejected your covenant, torn down your altars, and put your prophets to death with the sword. I am the only one left, and now they are trying to kill me too. A gentle whisper. Not the wind, not the earthquake, not the fire. God came to Elijah in the sound of gentle stillness, in the quiet, in the hush after all the noise had passed. And he asked a question, not to accuse, not to shame, but to invite. What are you doing here? God already knew the answer. He knew every thought in Elijah's mind, every ache in his heart, every tear he had swallowed. But he asked anyway, because sometimes being truly heard means being given the space to speak. Elijah poured out his pain again, the same words, the same despair. I am the only one left, and God did not dismiss him. God did not tell him his feelings were wrong or his perspective was flawed. Instead, God gave him a new assignment, new companions, and new purpose. But that comes later. For now, what matters is this. God showed up. God came close. God whispered. And tonight, in your quiet room, in your loneliness, in the silence where no one else has entered, the same God is here. He sees the words you could not speak today. He knows the conversations that ended before they began. He felt it when you gave up, when you said never mind, when you decided your pain was not worth sharing because no one would really listen anyway. He was there, and he is here now. Not in the wind of busy lives rushing past you. Not in the earthquake of a world that shakes with noise and distraction. Not in the fire of everyone else's urgent problems. He is in the gentle whisper, in the stillness, in this very moment. And if you listen, if you dare to believe that you are not as alone as you feel, you might just hear him asking, "What are you doing here, beloved?" And unlike everyone else, he will wait for your answer. He will not check his phone. He will not glance at the clock. He will not change the subject or make it about himself. He will simply listen, because that is who he is. That is what he does. And that is what he is doing right now, with you in this place. Your cry is not unheard. Your pain is not invisible. Your heart is not unknown. Stay with me, because there is more he wants to show you. More he wants to speak into the silence. And in the passages that follow, you will discover something that changes everything. He does not just hear your cries after you speak them. He knew them before you formed the words. There is something you need to understand. When you sat there today, words stuck in your throat, watching people ignore you, feeling invisible, you probably thought, if only someone knew. If only someone could see inside me. If only I did not have to explain. You thought you were carrying your burden alone. You thought the weight of your unspoken words was yours to bear in solitude. But you were wrong. There is one who knew every word you wanted to say before you ever tried to speak it. There is one who has counted every tear you have swallowed, every sigh you have hidden, every ache you have pushed down because no one seemed interested in hearing it. He did not just notice your pain today. He knew about it before you were born. 3,000 years ago, David discovered this truth. And when he finally grasped it, he wrote words that have echoed through centuries, bringing comfort to every lonely soul who ever wondered if anyone truly saw them. Listen carefully, because these words are not just ancient poetry. They are a mirror. And when you look into them, you will see yourself reflected in the gaze of the one who has always been watching. You have searched me, Lord, and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. Before a word is on my tongue, you, Lord, know it completely. Before a word is on my tongue. Do you understand what that means? Every sentence you could not finish today. Every explanation that died in your throat. Every desperate cry you swallowed because no one was listening. He already knew. He already heard. He already understood. You did not need to speak for him to know. You hem me in behind and before, and you lay your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there your hand will guide me. Your right hand will hold me fast. There is nowhere you can go where he is not already waiting. There is no darkness deep enough to hide you from his sight. There is no loneliness so profound that it can separate you from his presence. You might feel alone, but you have never been alone, not for a single moment. If I say, surely the darkness will hide me and the light become night around me, even the darkness will not be dark to you. The night will shine like the day, for darkness is as light to you. The darkness you feel tonight, the heaviness, the silence, the emptiness of a room where no one has come to find you. To him, it is as bright as noon. He sees you clearly. He sees everything, for you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. He knew you before you existed. He designed you. He planned your days. Every moment of your life, including this one, was written in his book before time began. This night was not a surprise to him. Your pain is not an inconvenience. Your loneliness is not an afterthought. He saw it coming. He prepared for it. And he is here in it. How precious to me are your thoughts, God. How vast is the sum of them. Were I to count them, they would outnumber the grains of sand. When I awake, I am still with you. His thoughts toward you are countless, more numerous than every grain of sand on every beach on earth. And they are not thoughts of disappointment or frustration or annoyance. They are precious thoughts, tender thoughts, the thoughts of a father who cannot stop thinking about his child. When you wake up tomorrow, groggy and heavy with the weight of another day, he will still be there. When you face another moment of being overlooked, he will still be watching. When you feel like giving up again, he will still be holding on. Search me, God, and know my heart. Test me, and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. David ended his prayer with an invitation. Search me, know me. See everything, even the parts I am ashamed of. Even the thoughts I cannot speak out loud. Even the fears and doubts and darkness I hide from everyone else. He was not afraid of being fully known by God, because he understood something crucial. Being known by God is not being exposed. It is being embraced. You can stop hiding now. You can stop pretending you are fine when you are breaking inside. You can stop editing your prayers to make them sound more spiritual. You can stop wondering if God is too busy or too disappointed or too distant to care about your small, quiet pain. He knows. He has always known. And knowing you completely, he loves you still. But perhaps you are wondering, if God already knows everything, why should I pray? Why should I speak at all? Listen to what Jesus said about this. His own words, spoken to people just like you, people who felt unseen and unheard by the religious systems of their day. But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father, who is unseen. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you. Your Father sees in secret. The room where no one else comes, the moments when no one else is watching, the tears no one else knows about. He sees all of it, and he rewards it Not because you earned something, not because you performed well enough, but because he is a father who delights in meeting his children in the hidden places. And when you pray, do not keep on babbling like pagans, for they think they will be heard because of their many words. Do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you ask him. Your Father knows what you need before you ask. You do not have to convince God to help you. You do not have to find the perfect words, or the right formula, or the most eloquent prayer. You do not have to explain yourself over and over, hoping he will finally understand. He already understands. He understood before you opened your mouth. Your prayers are not information sessions for God. They are not news reports. He depends on to know what is happening in your life. They are conversations, communion, connection. He does not need your words to know your heart. But he invites your words because he wants your heart. And this is the beautiful paradox of prayer. You are speaking to someone who already knows everything you will say, and yet he listens with infinite attention. Not because he needs to hear it, but because he knows you need to say it. You need to be heard. And he wants to be the one who hears you, not in a hurry, not with half his attention, not while checking the clock or waiting for you to finish so he can move on to something more important. He is fully present, always, with you, right now. There was a king named David who learned this truth in the depths of his own despair. And years later, looking back on all the times God had rescued him, delivered him, heard him, he wrote these words, "I sought the Lord, and he answered me. He delivered me from all my fears." Those who look to him are radiant. Their faces are never covered with shame. This poor man called, and the Lord heard him. He saved him out of all his troubles. The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him, and he delivers them. Taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the one who takes refuge in him. I sought the Lord, and he answered me. Not eventually, not reluctantly, not after I got my act together or proved myself worthy. I sought him, and he answered. This poor man called, and the Lord heard him. Not the rich man, not the influential man, not the man with connections and resources and impressive credentials. The poor man, the overlooked one, the one with nothing to offer but his desperate cry. That is who God hears. That is who God saves. That is who God delivers. And maybe tonight you feel poor, not necessarily in money, but in hope, in strength, in the currency of human attention and care. You feel bankrupt of the very things you need most. Good news, you are exactly the kind of person God loves to answer. The eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and his ears are attentive to their cry. The face of the Lord is against those who do evil, to blot out their name from the earth. The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears them. He delivers them from all their troubles. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted, and saves those who are crushed in spirit. The righteous person may have many troubles, but the Lord delivers him from them all. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted, not distant, not far off, not watching from heaven with detached concern. Close, near, present. When your heart breaks, he draws near. When your spirit is crushed, he comes close. When you feel the weight of being unseen and unheard, he is closer than you know. This is not wishful thinking. This is not religious optimism. This is the declared nature of God, spoken through his own word, confirmed through thousands of years of human experience. He is close to you tonight, in the silence of this room, in the heaviness of this hour, in the loneliness that feels like it will never end. He is here. He knows. He cares. And he is not waiting for you to find the right words, or summon the right feelings, or achieve the right spiritual state. He already knows what you need. He already knows what you feel. He already knows the exact shape of the ache in your chest, and the precise weight of the burden on your shoulders. You do not have to explain yourself to him. You just have to turn to him. He has already turned toward you. He has been facing your direction all along, watching, waiting, ready to meet you the moment you look his way. His eyes are on you. His ears are attentive. His heart is inclined toward you with a love that does not waver, does not diminish, does not depend on your performance or your eloquence or your ability to hold yourself together. You can come to him broken. You can come to him confused. You can come to him with no words at all, just tears and groans and the silent scream of a heart that cannot take any more, and he will hear you. Because that is who he is. That is what he does. And that is what he is doing right now, in this moment, with you. He already knows. And knowing everything, he still invites you closer. So come. Come into the secret place. Close the door on the world that has failed to see you, and discover that you have never been invisible to the one who matters most. He sees you. He knows you. He loves you. And he is listening. There is something you need to see tonight, not just hear, not just understand intellectually. You need to witness it. Because when you watch how Jesus treated people during his time on earth, something shifts inside you. You begin to realize that the way he saw them is the same way. He sees you, and the people he sought out, the ones he stopped for, the ones he called by name, they were not the important ones. They were not the ones everyone else was paying attention to. They were the forgotten, the overlooked, the invisible, just like you feel right now. Let me take you to a well in Samaria. It is the middle of the day, the hottest hour, when no one goes to draw water, except one woman. She comes at noon precisely because she wants to avoid the others. She has learned that their whispers and stares hurt less if she simply stays away. She has been married 5 times. The man she lives with now is not her husband. In her culture, in her time, she is the definition of shame. The other women will not associate with her. The men see her only as an object of scandal or desire. She has become invisible in the worst way, seen only for her failures, never for her humanity. And on this day, a Jewish rabbi is sitting by the well, alone, waiting. Jews did not speak to Samaritans. Men did not speak to women in public, especially women like her. Every social rule, every cultural barrier, every religious expectation said that this conversation should never happen. But Jesus was never very good at following those rules. When a Samaritan woman came to draw water, Jesus said to her, "Will you give me a drink?" The Samaritan woman said to him, "You are a Jew and I am a Samaritan woman. How can you ask me for a drink?" She was shocked. Not just that he spoke to her, but that he asked her for something, as if she had something to offer, as if she mattered enough to help him. Jesus answered her, "If you knew the gift of God and who it is that asks you for a drink, you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water." "Sir," the woman said, "you have nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. Where can you get this living water? Are you greater than our father Jacob, who gave us the well and drank from it himself, as did also his sons and his livestock?" Jesus answered, "Everyone who drinks this water will be thirsty again, but whoever drinks the water I give them will never thirst. Indeed, the water I give them will become in them a spring of water welling up to eternal life." The woman said to him, "Sir, give me this water, so that I will not get thirsty and have to keep coming here to draw water." She still did not understand. She was thinking about convenience, about avoiding the daily humiliation of the well. But Jesus was about to show her that he knew everything about her and loved her anyway. He told her, "Go, call your husband and come back." "I have no husband," she replied. Jesus said to her, "You are right when you say you have no husband. The fact is, you have had 5 husbands, and the man you now have is not your husband. What you have just said is quite true. Imagine that moment. Imagine the blood draining from her face. Imagine the familiar shame rising in her chest, the instinct to run, to hide, to disappear. This stranger knew everything. Every failed marriage, every broken promise, every shameful secret she had spent years trying to bury. He knew, and he was still talking to her, still looking at her, still offering her living water. He did not use her past against her. He did not lecture her or condemn her or make her grovel for forgiveness. He simply acknowledged the truth of her life and kept the conversation going. "Sir," the woman said, "I can see that you are a prophet. Our ancestors worshipped on this mountain, but you Jews claim that the place where we must worship is in Jerusalem." She changed the subject to theology. It is what we do when someone gets too close to our wounds. We deflect. We intellectualize. We talk about abstract concepts instead of the raw reality of our own hearts. But Jesus met her there too. "Woman," Jesus replied, "believe me, a time is coming when you will worship the Father neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem. You Samaritans worship what you do not know. We worship what we do know, for salvation is from the Jews. Yet a time is coming, and has now come, when the true worshippers will worship the Father in the Spirit and in truth, for they are the kind of worshippers the Father seeks. God is Spirit, and his worshippers must worship in the Spirit and in truth." The woman said, "I know that Messiah is coming. When he comes, he will explain everything to us." Then Jesus declared, "I, the one speaking to you, I am he," to this woman, this outcast, this shame-covered, 5 times divorced, living in sin's Samaritan woman. Jesus revealed his identity as the Messiah, not to the religious leaders, not to the crowds, not to his own disciples, who had gone into town for food. To her. She was the first person in the Gospel of John to whom Jesus explicitly said, "I am the Messiah." The invisible woman became the first evangelist. Then, leaving her water jar, the woman went back to the town and said to the people, "Come, see a man who told me everything I ever did. Could this be the Messiah?" She who had avoided the townspeople now ran to them. She who had hidden in shame now spoke boldly. She who had been invisible was suddenly the one everyone was listening to, because Jesus saw her, really saw her, not just her sin, but her soul, not just her past, but her potential, not just who she had been, but who she could become. And he sees you the same way tonight. But maybe you are thinking, that was her. That was a dramatic encounter. That was a special moment. Surely Jesus does not stop for everyone. Let me show you another story. Another invisible person. Another moment when the crowd was pressing in, and Jesus stopped for the one no one else noticed. There was a woman who had been bleeding for 12 years. In her culture, this made her ceremonially unclean. She could not go to the temple. She could not be touched. Anyone who came into contact with her became unclean themselves. For 12 years she had been untouchable. She had spent everything she had on doctors. None of them could help her. She was broke, sick, and completely alone. And then she heard that Jesus was passing through. A large crowd followed and pressed around him. And a woman was there who had been subject to bleeding for 12 years. She had suffered a great deal under the care of many doctors and had spent all she had, yet instead of getting better, she grew worse. When she heard about Jesus, she came up behind him in the crowd and touched his cloak, because she thought, if I just touch his clothes, I will be healed. Immediately her bleeding stopped, and she felt in her body that she was freed from her suffering. She did not ask permission. She did not call out to him. She did not make a scene. She just reached through the crowd, touched the edge of his garment, and hoped no one would notice. But Jesus noticed. At once Jesus realized that power had gone out from him. He turned around in the crowd and asked, "Who touched my clothes? You see the people crowding against you, his disciples answered. And yet you could ask, who touched me? But Jesus kept looking around to see who had done it. The disciples thought it was a ridiculous question. Dozens of people were touching him in that pressing crowd. But Jesus knew the difference between the bump of a crowd and the touch of desperate faith. He knew someone needed him, and he was not going to let her slip away unseen. Then the woman, knowing what had happened to her, came and fell at his feet, and trembling with fear, told him the whole truth. She told him the whole truth. 12 years of suffering, 12 years of isolation, 12 years of shame and desperation and hopelessness. She poured it all out at his feet, and he listened. He said to her, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering." Daughter, not woman, not you there. Daughter, a term of tenderness, a word of belonging, a declaration of relationship. She came to him untouchable, and he called her family. She came to him invisible, and he made her the center of attention. She came to him hoping to slip away unnoticed, and he stopped everything to acknowledge her, to honor her faith, to send her away with a blessing. This is who Jesus is. This is what he does. He stops for the ones no one else sees. And there is one more story you need to hear tonight. One more invisible man who discovered that Jesus was looking for him. His name was Zacchaeus. He was a tax collector, which meant he was a traitor to his people, working for the Roman occupiers, getting rich by exploiting his own neighbors. Everyone hated him. No one would eat with him or welcome him into their homes. He was wealthy and utterly alone, and he was short. So short that when Jesus came to town, he could not see over the crowd. Jesus entered Jericho and was passing through. A man was there by the name of Zacchaeus. He was a chief tax collector and was wealthy. He wanted to see who Jesus was, but because he was short, he could not see over the crowd. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore fig tree to see him, since Jesus was coming that way. Picture this wealthy, powerful, hated man climbing a tree like a child, desperate just to catch a glimpse of the teacher everyone was talking about, not expecting anything, not hoping for an encounter, just wanting to see. But Jesus had other plans. When Jesus reached the spot, he looked up and said to him, "Zacchaeus, come down immediately. I must stay at your house today." Jesus looked up into the tree, at the man everyone else was ignoring, or worse, despising. And he called him by name. Not, "Hey you," or "tax collector," or any of the insults the crowd might have used. Zacchaeus, his actual name, as if they had known each other forever. And then the most shocking part, "I must stay at your house today." Must. Not, "I would like to," or "if it is convenient." Must. As if this encounter was the very reason Jesus had come to Jericho. As if this despised man in a tree was the whole point of the journey. So he came down at once and welcomed him gladly. All the people saw this and began to mutter, "He has gone to be the guest of a sinner." The crowd was offended. The religious people were scandalized. But Jesus did not care. He had come for the lost, the overlooked, the ones everyone else had written off. But Zacchaeus stood up and said to the Lord, "Look, Lord, here and now I give half of my possessions to the poor, and if I have cheated anybody out of anything, I will pay back 4 times the amount." Jesus said to him, "Today salvation has come to this house, because this man too is a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and to save the lost." The Son of Man came to seek and to save the lost. That is why Jesus came. Not to be served by important people, not to be admired by the religious elite, not to build an empire of the powerful and connected. He came to seek, to actively look for, to pursue the lost, the invisible. the ones hiding in trees because they think no one wants them at the party. Tonight, you might feel like Zacchaeus, isolated by your own choices, separated from others by walls you helped build, convinced that you are too far gone, too compromised, too stained for anyone to want you. Jesus is looking up into your tree. He is calling your name, and he is inviting himself into your house. You might feel like the woman with the bleeding, exhausted by problems that never get better, spent out from trying everything and finding nothing that works, hoping just to touch the edge of something holy without being noticed. Jesus knows you touched him. He stopped the whole parade for you, and he is calling you daughter, calling you son, calling you his own. You might feel like the woman at the well, defined by your past, marked by your failures, coming to draw water at noon because you cannot face the judgment of others. Jesus is waiting for you. He knows everything about you, and he is offering you living water anyway. This is who he is. This is what he does. This is how he loves. He sees the invisible, and tonight he sees you. We have traveled a long way together tonight. You started in the darkness of being unseen. You discovered that God knew your pain before you could speak it. You witnessed Jesus stopping for the invisible ones, calling them by name, inviting himself into their lives. Now it is time to rest. Not the restless sleep of exhaustion, not the numbing escape of distraction. Real rest. The kind that comes when you finally, truly believe that you are seen, known, and loved. But before we arrive at that rest, there is one more moment I need to show you. Because sometimes being truly heard is not about words at all. Sometimes it is about presence. Sometimes it is about someone simply being with you in your pain. Jesus had friends, close friends, people he loved deeply and personally. And one of his dearest friends was a man named Lazarus, who lived in Bethany with his two sisters, Mary and Martha. Lazarus got sick, and his sisters sent word to Jesus, hoping he would come and heal their brother. But Jesus delayed, and by the time he arrived, Lazarus had been dead for 4 days. Martha heard that Jesus was coming, and she went out to meet him, but Mary stayed at home. When Martha reached the place where Jesus was, she said, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But I know that even now God will give you whatever you ask." Jesus had a theological conversation with Martha. He spoke to her about resurrection and life and faith. It was an important exchange, full of truth and promise. But then Mary came. After she had said this, she went back and called her sister Mary aside. "The teacher is here," she said, "and is asking for you." When Mary heard this, she got up quickly and went to him. Now Jesus had not yet entered the village, but was still at the place where Martha had met him. When the Jews who had been with Mary in the house, comforting her, noticed how quickly she got up and went out, they followed her, supposing she was going to the tomb to mourn there. When Mary reached the place where Jesus was and saw him, she fell at his feet and said, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." Mary said the exact same words Martha had said, "Lord, if you had been here." But the response was different. When Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews who had come along with her also weeping, he was deeply moved in spirit and troubled. "Where have you laid him?" he asked. "Come and see, Lord," they replied. Jesus wept. Jesus wept. 2 words. The shortest verse in the English Bible, and perhaps the most profound. The Son of God, who knew he was about to raise Lazarus from the dead, wept. He was not crying because he did not know how the story would end. He was crying because Mary was crying. He was crying because the people he loved were in pain. He felt their grief as his own. Then the Jews said, "See how he loved him." This is how Jesus responds to your pain tonight. Not with detached theological explanations, Not with quick fixes or easy answers. Not with everything happens for a reason, or just have more faith. He weeps with you. Your tears move him. Your grief touches his heart. When you hurt, he hurts. When you feel the ache of being alone and unheard, he feels it too. You are not crying alone tonight. He is crying with you. And here is the beautiful thing. After he wept, he acted. He went to the tomb. He called Lazarus out of death. He turned mourning into dancing and grief into celebration. He will do the same for you. Maybe not tonight. Maybe not tomorrow. But resurrection is coming. New life is on its way. And in the meantime, he weeps with you and holds you close. Now listen to his invitation. These are his own words, spoken to people who are exhausted, burdened, and worn down by life. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light. Come to me, not get yourself together, and then come. Not prove yourself worthy, and then come. Not stop struggling, and then come. Just come. As you are, weary, burdened, exhausted from trying to be heard, tired of carrying it all alone. Come, and I will give you rest. This is not a demand. It is not a command. It is an invitation. A gentle, open-armed welcome from the one who knows exactly what you need. He is gentle. He is humble in heart. He is not harsh or demanding or disappointed in your weakness. He meets you in your exhaustion and offers you rest. And notice what he promises. Rest for your souls. Not just physical rest, though that matters too. Soul rest. The deep, settled peace that comes from knowing you are finally, truly home. The quiet confidence that you belong. The release of striving and proving and performing, replaced by the simple joy of being loved. This is what he offers you tonight. But maybe you still wonder, does he really want me? After everything I have done, everything I have failed at, everything I have become, does he really want me? Listen to what God says through the prophet Isaiah. But now, this is what the Lord says, he who created you, Jacob, he who formed you, Israel. Do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have summoned you by name. You are mine. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze. For I am the Lord your God, the Holy One of Israel, your Savior. I give Egypt for your ransom, Cush and Seba in your stead. Since you are precious and honored in my sight, and because I love you, I will give people in exchange for you, nations in exchange for your life. Do not fear, I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. You belong to him, not because you earned it, not because you deserve it, but because he chose you, called you, redeemed you. When you pass through waters, when you walk through fire, when life overwhelms you and threatens to sweep you away, he is with you. He will not let you be destroyed. And here is the part you need to hear most clearly tonight. You are precious and honored in my sight. Because I love you, precious, honored, loved. These are not the words of a distant God who tolerates you. These are the words of a Father who delights in you, treasures you, considers you worth more than nations. You, the one who felt invisible today. You, the one whose words died in your throat. You, the one who wondered if anyone would notice if you disappeared. You are precious. You are honored. You are loved. And now, one final picture. One last image to carry with you into the night. Hear the first. I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in and eat with that person, and they with me. Jesus is standing at the door of your heart right now, not pounding, not demanding, not forcing his way in, knocking, gently, persistently, patiently. He will not break down the door. He will not override your will. He will not barge in uninvited. But he is there, and he is knocking, and he is waiting for you to open. If you hear his voice tonight, if something in these words has stirred your heart, if you sense that he is near, all you have to do is open the door. And when you do, he will come in, not to lecture you or fix you or change the subject to something more important. He will come in to eat with you, to sit with you, to be present with you. In the culture of Jesus' day, sharing a meal was the deepest form of fellowship. It meant acceptance. It meant intimacy. It meant, I want to be with you, to know you, to spend unhurried time in your presence. That is what Jesus is offering tonight. Not a quick prayer and then moving on. Not a transaction where you get something from him and he gets something from you. Communion, fellowship, a simple, profound gift of his presence. He wants to be with you. And finally, rest in these words. Let them wash over you like warm water. Let them settle into the deepest places of your weary soul. The Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me. Beside quiet waters, he refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely your goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. The Lord is your shepherd. You lack nothing. Nothing you truly need is missing from your life when he is with you. He makes you lie down, not forces you, not demands it. He creates the conditions for rest. Green pastures, quiet waters, peace. He refreshes your soul. A tired, wrung out, depleted soul that has been running on empty for so long. He fills it up again, even in the darkest valley, even in the shadow of death, even in the loneliest nights and the hardest seasons. You do not have to fear. He is with you. His presence comforts you. He prepares a table for you, a feast, a celebration, right in the middle of your troubles, surrounded by everything that threatens you. He serves you with abundance. Your cup overflows, not barely enough, not just scraping by, overflowing, more than you could ask or imagine. And surely, certainly, without doubt, his goodness and love will follow you. Not just today, not just in the good times, all the days of your life. You will dwell in his house forever. This is where you belong. This is where you are headed. This is your home. Tonight, you are not alone. You are never alone. The one who sees the invisible has seen you all along. The one who hears the unspoken has heard every word you could not say. The one who loves the unlovable has loved you from before the foundation of the world. Close your eyes now. Breathe deeply and know that you are held. You are seen, you are heard, you are loved, and he is with you always. Rest now. Rest in his presence. Rest in his love. Rest in the truth that has been spoken over you tonight. You are not invisible. You never were. Good night, beloved. The shepherd is watching over you.